friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. I am Martina Lily and today we are continuing on my top 5 palette theme train, and I am going to tell you guys my top 5 favorite colorful palettes in my collection. Hopefully that sounds interesting to you guys. If it does, go ahead and do the YouTubey things, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it. I thought I would round up my top 5 favorite palettes in my collection with my favorite colorful palettes. So if you haven't checked out my other videos, I have done my top 5 favorite cool tone palettes, my top 5 favorite warm tone palettes, and my top 5 current favorite palettes in my collection. And now we're going to do my colorful collection. So first up is a newer brand to my collection. It's an indie brand, and one was surprised at the price point of this. This was, in my opinion, for an Australian buying makeup anyway, quite cheap. And two, the quality is insane. And this is the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette. Now some of you might feel this is a little bit neutral-ish, but for me this is colorful. Like, yes, it does have some browns in here, but overall the overwhelming majority for me is quite colorful. And I am mesmerized by the quality of the formula from this palette. It's truly a high quality, like high-end luxury type feel, like Natasha, Denona, Pat McGrath Labs type feel to their eyeshadows. And this was like 35 Australian dollars, and then I think I paid $15 shipping, so $50 all up for the palette really when you include shipping. And for me that was such a good price point. And I really like that this color story has, well, one, so many greens. You know, I'm obsessed with green eyeshadow. I love this mustard, but I also love that it has these kind of like cosmic-y type purples and blues and stuff to it, and I feel really quite inspired whenever I look at this palette. So if you have not checked out Cosmic Brushes, honestly, don't sleep on them. They are really, really good quality. Keeping on the theme of ones that do have just ever so slight neutral undertones to it, maybe I'm cheating, but in my mind I'm not. Let's cover this one. This is the Odin's Eye Cross Lauren May Beauty Sea Talk palette. This is actually the first palette I tried from Odin's Eye, and wow. I have said multiple times that I think that this color story from Lauren was absolutely perfection. I think that she's really nailed the mix of kind of, let me try and get that to zoom, there we go. She's really nailed the mix of wearable but colorful, in my opinion. Like, you do have this kind of wearable corner over here that if you're not feeling like popping into that color, you don't have to. But then you have this beautiful like 6 over here, which is just color lane, but in such a soft, or not a soft, but in such a unique wearable way. Like, these denim colors are chef's kiss to me. I'm so attracted to these denim colors this year. And then you have this beautiful mint and pink and yellow, which is like perfect for summer. And I always love like a pop of yellow in like the inner corner, even if you do like a completely neutral look, that kind of thing. I just think this whole color story is so cohesive and really caters to so many different like makeup looks. And the quality of the Odin's Eye palettes, you guys have heard me rave about them in a few videos now. They really are mind-blowing. So if you can still get your hands on this palette, I think it is limited edition because it's a collab. I highly recommend it. It is so good. Next up, we have the Viseart Koi palette. This is a newer one to my collection, and I adore this. I know that they had this little Koi palette as a larger palette back in the day, and they've now released it in their little petite version. I love this. I think this is such a great little palette if you are someone that wants a little taste of color in your collection. You don't want it to be too big of a palette, or you want to be able to like travel with it easily. But also the Viseart formula isn't like, for example, with the Muse and the Sea Talk palettes, that formula is quite wham bam, thank you ma'am. It is quite, it's a wham bam metallic. You know, it's how I described it. Whereas these ones are a little bit more subtle on the lid. So if you are looking for a more subtle way to wear color, then Viseart is your friend. These look really, really good on any eyelids, mature eyelids, dry eyelids, whatever it may be. And it's just, like I said, a more subtle way to introduce color into your look without it being too intense, too sparkly, too metallic looking, while still being an incredible formula. Like, don't get me wrong, the Viseart formula is constantly underrated. I say that all the time. It is such a great brand for anyone that is looking for just everyday eyeshadow, an eyeshadow that is fuss-free, easy to put together, that kind of a thing. And I just think, you know, for the price of this, I think it was about $40 or something, you know, you kind of get all the colors you could need. It will cross over into multiple different occasions for color and that kind of a thing. And it's just, it's a lovely little small palette to dip your toes in the color water, if you will. Let's cover off another little mini palette. This is the mini pastel palette from Natasha Denona, and boy am I impressed with this palette. It is so good. I wasn't overly impressed with the midi pastel palette, I should say, sorry. I just wasn't. It wasn't my kind of... Actually, I liked the color story. I do love a pastel eye, as you can tell, but I didn't find the formula of the mattes in the pastel midi to be very wowing to me. But this one is impeccable. I mean, this matte right here works beautifully. It performs exactly how it looks in the pan on the eyes. But for me, it's the metallics. Again, can you tell? I really like the denim metallics this year. Stunning. Then you have this beautiful pink and then this gorgeous gold, which is quite similar to the Plantasia shade in the new Yucca palette from her. But again, if you are just looking for a really small palette to dip your toes in color, but it's still actually quite wearable, this is a really good option for you to look at as well, because you don't even have to use this green matte if you don't wish. You could obviously pair these other 4 colorful shades with more neutral tones and you've got a very soft and wearable look. But if you do want to pop out that green, you know, you've got that in your arsenal too. So I really think this is such a great little mini colorful palette, and the quality is just chef's kiss. Last but not least, we have one of my all-time favorite colorful palettes in my collection. I have wanted this palette for the longest time and I just could never really justify picking it up because, look, between you and I don't wear color a whole lot. Actually, I probably wear it more than you think. I definitely do wear it, but I do gravitate towards more of those cool tony basic colors, let's be real, and I'm okay with that. So because this palette is so expensive, I felt like I couldn't really justify picking it up. I wasn't sure if I would get the wear out of it, and then I got it on a sale at like during Boxing Day, and I think I got it for like 30 or 40% off, and I was like, this is the time, especially before it gets discontinued. And when I tell you, it's like, I have not looked back and I do not regret picking this palette up, and I'm so grateful that I did pick it up. I'm telling you that's the case. And it is the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. Again, not a palette that may be for everyone, because it definitely is it's an expensive palette, and it's an expensive palette for so much color, but the level of incredible that these like shadows are is out of this world. Like the metallics are wow. Like wow. Every time I use a metallic from this palette, I am blown away. The mattes are incredible performing as well. It's that Natasha Denona that you love and adore. But I think one of the things when you look at this palette, it can be quite intimidating, and you kind of look at it and just go, I don't even know where to begin with that. But when you actually break it down, and even if you just pick, say, one of the metallic shades to kind of use for the day, and then if you want to tone it down and not be so colorful, you can obviously pair it with more neutral shadows as well. Or if you want to go full balls to the wall, you know, do you pick your colors. But if you just pick one kind of metallic shade, you can really create a soft wearable look for the everyday or for whatever occasion, and create your color story around that. I have no idea if that makes sense, but lately I created, it's hopefully already up on my channel, I created my own custom palette, and this shade and this shade is in it. I've just put them back for this video, but I'll put them back in it, and I've created a look with this one and this one already with that custom palette, and they were gorgeous. And like my last custom palette had this one, and I created a lot of looks with that too, even on the everyday. It's just, I love this. Like if you're on the fence, again, if you don't wear color ever, go for a mini if you want something in your collection that's gonna add some color but you never really wear it. But if you are someone that loves color for one, or really does kind of integrate color probably on like a 40% basis, like I do, 40 to 50% basis, and you can afford it and you've had your eye on it, I recommend this. It is amazing. It really has impressed me immensely. That wraps up my top 5 favorite colorful palettes in my collection. I hope that was a little bit of fun and enjoyment for you. Let me know your favorite colorful palette down below in the comment section. I would love to know, and I love chatting with you guys. If you're watching till this point, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you have the most amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye!